Hi, Pawan. So let's get started on your reading. So the first card is talk about the master that came to Jesus and asked about eternal life. Give up everything you have, higher position. Second card is meditate on the Hindu goddess of wealth today. Third card is the foundation building card. And it says those who can do and those who can't teach others to do it better. The fourth card is they are meant to protect you and you are meant to heal them, but that's in reverse. And the fifth card for the first row is build in the Carolinas, but that's in reverse. Okay. So the second row, the first card is smoke on it. You decide this person's fatal karma. The second card is Amica's heart saves hearts of the world. The third card is make love to me tonight and you'll cease many future wars. The fourth card is legends and icons alert, but that's in reverse. And the fifth card is rally and support no matter the skin color, but that's in reverse. Okay, so pile one, automatically I'm going to tell you you're dealing with some racism here. It could, and I'm getting where this is coming from is two women in particular. You guys are not from the same background. You don't have the same ethnicity, but I feel like this is also a sense of they may be targeting you for some particular reason and they want to bring some form of defamation of character to you. So these people could be, whoever these are or whoever this is in relations to, they could be watching you and it's like, I got this energy of watching you and just waiting for you to slip up, or they're waiting for you to make a huge mistake and they want to try to I want to say profit off of that in some way, shape, or form. And you're also dealing with a person who they are judging you by your appearance, right? So let's say, and whoever this is a masculine energy with a military background. So let's say somebody is judging you by your appearance and they're not thinking that you have a certain ranking, and maybe they have a higher ranking in the physical realm when it comes to you and them, but spiritually you outrank everybody on this board, right? Whether they're trying to come against you or whether they're trying to mock like your position. So let's start from the beginning, right? So in the beginning, you have to talk about the master that came to Jesus and asked about eternal life, right? And so when you read it in the scripture, it's a certain master, right? Comes up to Jesus, and the first thing the certain master says is, "Oh, good master." And Jesus responds to this person by saying, the good master, by saying, "What makes you think I'm good?" Right? So it's a matter of, and then he goes on to explain to him, following the commandments. He just knows that when he follows certain rules, when you put out certain energies, a certain energy will come back to you, right? And so, but I also took it like in this part of the interpretation for this particular pile, I took it as somebody like coming off like as a mocking energy. It's like they know that who you are, but because of the position that they hold, they feel like they're over you when they're not, right? And somebody is definitely judging you by your appearance. So you're appearing to be of a certain stature, you're appearing to look a certain way to this person, but they have no idea of your spiritual rank, okay? So, which is why ultimately you decide this person's fatal karma. Now, I had to double, triple check to see if that card was reversed, but it's not. So the fact that you have to decide this person's fatal karma means that whenever something has to be fatal, this person must have been doing something behind the scenes that would appear as like they're trying to undermine you or they're trying to sabotage you in some way because of their rank. So let's clarify that. And I find that in this reading, like I'm trying to be very careful with my words. So I feel like whoever you are, you're naturally cautious and you're very careful. But when it comes to the reality or deciding somebody else's fate, you understand the weight of your words, which is why you don't just fly out, like things don't just fly out of your mouth, like total damnation or, a lifetime of like curses don't fly out of your mouth. You may cuss, right? But you don't curse. So you know the weight of your words and you know that your words are so powerful that they can completely demolish another person's life. But this is why you have to decide on, okay, despite the fact of what this person did, what do you think would be the best outcome for the highest good, not only of yourself, but for this person and anybody involved? So clarify this card. What has this person been, with the military background, been doing behind this pile one's back? What have they been doing? I stare at your pictures all day. The best part of my life is you. Somebody has been... I stare at your pictures all day. But that's in reverse. Somebody has been watching you. And I'm thinking superficiality. Somebody is watching you and they're judging your looks. Like this is definitely giving me like body shaming in a way, like somebody nitpicking at your character because of how your body looks. What else has this person been doing behind this person's back? So the card that came out was the gangster versus the businessman. Any difference? But that's in reverse. Pile one. You have no idea how fearful you're about to make this person when you state without stating exactly who you are. But I think that's this person's karma. This person's karma is coming to the realization that no matter the physical position that they hold or they think they hold over you, they're not better than you. This is somebody who probably appears to be fit or someone who is very body conscious. Just because you look a certain way does not mean that you lack something. Like this is somebody who looks at you and they think because you are, let's say, overweight or underweight, you lack discipline or you don't like yourself or you need to practice more self-love. And they have no idea that you are the embodiment of unconditional love itself, right? Despite what you look like. This is why I say this because I've always been taught you never judge a book by its cover. Never. No matter what it looks like. Okay? So, and then also with your pile, I thought about Beauty and the Beast, right? And in one of the many interpretations, right? But in interpretation that I'm talking about, this old woman, it's a movie, knocks on the door. She looks like old and scraggly and she's like hunched over and she's coming in and she's offering the king his own rose from his garden and he flings it and he mocks her and he just makes a mockery of her in front of like the whole castle, right? And so everybody laughs and carries on, and then she transforms into this beautiful mystical being and she curses him, right? And she turns him into a beast. So it gives me that, like, somebody is looking at you thinking that you're just this, and how can you offer something from from something that they already have, and they're not realizing like your true power. But I feel like this person's karma is they are going to realize your true power, and by the time they realize it, I feel like it's going to be too late. Okay, so smoke on it. You decide this person's fatal karma. Can you clarify this card for me, please? Spiritual team, my hands good. Thank you. So the card that came out was one of my Sekhmet cards, and it says, do you know how loved and adored you are? Somebody is going to realize just how much people value you as a person, no matter what you look like. And then they're gonna come across people who value you and appreciate like your looks. They're going to understand like your beauty on a deeper level that this person couldn't begin to fathom unless everybody else started to show this person like, no, they are a very beautiful person. They are very, like, there's something very etheric about you, like your etheric beauty, but it's hidden because this is God's way of weeding out who is supposed to be in your life and who is just you just watch by the sidelines. Like, you do not have permission to come so close to me. So this is giving me that. Okay, so let's move forward in regards to meditate on the Hindu goddess of wealth today and Emika's heart. Let's clarify that. And so the card that came out was best to control the direction of the wind as opposed to the wind itself. So when we think of the wind, we can't see it, right? We can see its effects on what it's doing to, like, in that moment, to the world. And it has the power to be as cool as a nice breeze. And then it also has the power to be destructive, right? So for me, I see this as when you come into your wealth or your divine birthright of financial stability, understand that when you move in such a way that allows a person to feel like they too can be as successful or as powerful or as, beautiful. Because when you think about the goddess Lakshmi, she's a very beautiful woman, right? And she represents abundance. So I would say this is telling you to move in such a way that by the time you come across the people you're meant to be around, they don't feel like they're under you, but they feel like they're the same level as you, even if they're just starting off on their spiritual journey, or even if they're way ahead of you on their spiritual journey. There's something about a universal feeling, like allowing people to feel like, look, if I did it, you could do it too. Okay, so step down. So the card that came out was step down and resign respectfully before things get out of hand, and you have to answer questions you never intended. But that's in reverse. So now it's a matter of stepping up. Like, it's like being given the position, right? The rightful position, not just in the spiritual realm, but in the physical realm, right? And it's like you have to step up to the plate because this plate is yours. It doesn't belong to the people who think because you're too short or they feel like you're too skinny, or they feel like you're too tall or too obese, that you shouldn't be eating off of this plate. Like, this is your plate of success that you are meant to have. And whatever you want on this plate every single day is what you're going to have on this plate, right? And it's more than just like physical food, but it's just like what you allow yourself to consume, like mentally, while you have this plate or while you're stepping up to the plate. Don't allow the naysayers or the people who think they're better than you because they have a star or a badge think that they can control the way you move or what you put on this plate. This plate was given to you for a particular reason. Okay. So let's get to the last set of cards in regards to whoever these women are. And the fact that I'm seeing legends and icon alert in reverse, these, like, whoever these two people are, I don't know who these two people are in your life, but these two people know that they don't hold a candle to you. Okay? Like, I just get like mean girl energy. It's like two people that come together and they decide how they want to be mean towards you. And I just get like that. They're just not nice people, right? And it's like, you're not going to conform to two people that don't even like you, let alone you're not going to conform to the idea of conforming to make people like you. So I just want you to know, like, the intentions behind these two people are not good. So you have to be very cautious, because I feel like at this point they're looking for anything just to throw you under the bus, because I feel like whatever it is that you do, but besides the high spiritual rank, you're so good at what you do that it's almost like they're looking for something to make it seem like you're not who you say you are, or you're not who others believe you to be. Yeah. The card that came up or came out was show up and out in the room they swore they blocked you from, and walk gracefully past the gatekeepers you're firing upon arrival. Do it with a smile. Like, I always think to myself, right? Because I'm very kind and considerate, but I know that there's a part of me where if I have to put my foot down and be assertive, that's not a pretty sight to see, right? So in regards to this, it's like, when you get to the point or the level you're supposed to be, and you're coming across these people that you know you have to demote, and I think this is more so of a spiritual demotion than it is a physical. But when you have to spiritually demote these people, just remember that these were the ones who tried to hold you back and just keep you in one position for the rest of your life. Like, something was never going to be good enough for, I'm going to say, these quote unquote mean girls. Okay? One more card. So, as I said before, the card that came out was, you are destined to build this empire. So stop thinking at a franchise level. Connectivity and expertise is key here. Like I said, okay? These women do not hold a candle to you. You are the best of the best, the creme de la creme of what you do. Now it is time for you to expand in such a way where, again, people like this cannot come remotely close to you. They can't say that you work for them. And I don't feel like it's going to come to a point where you're not meant to work for anybody. I feel like people are meant to work for you, right? So even when the roles reverse, I wouldn't even hire them. I wouldn't even rehire them. Okay? That's your reading, Pipeline. Bye. Hi, Pelty. Let's get started on your reading. So your first card is, you know, love, it costs nothing to say you are sorry. Second card is, even though it was not clear what happened, you are not wrong. Third card is, always be compassionate to the ones with spiritual blood on their hands no amount of soap can wipe off. And the fourth card is, go back to your luxury underwater home. The answer is there. And your fifth card is, obstacle after obstacle. The only thing you can control is yourself. For the second row, the first card is, first delegate, then divide, then subtract. Even Einstein had twice as many solutions to his problems. The second card is, this person has revoked their player card. Why? A little birdie told them you're single now. The third card is, you make the Grinches of the world want to be Care Bears. The fourth card is, it's time to let yourself be reborn and cleansed again. And the fifth card, which is the last card for the second row, is, sometimes the best love comes in unsuspecting packages. Okay. It's very seldom, because I only have one of these cards in a deck. It's very seldom that the Osiris card comes out. So you're definitely somebody who's into Egyptian mythology, and you could be somebody who knows the many depths of the underworld, or and the many depths of levels of ascension. Okay? Now, there is someone you have to apologize to. I don't know who this person is. Okay? But the reason why it feels like you can't get a break is because there's a part of you that's not allowing yourself to give yourself a break because of what you have done to someone else. So your higher self is telling you, let's subtract the ego, divide the pride, let's weigh the pros and cons, right? Let's take away the arrogance. All we have to do is say sorry. That's it. You don't have to pay an arm and a leg. You don't have to go through the process of physical mummification. All you have to do is physically say you are sorry to whoever it is that is deserving and needs that apology. Okay? So let's see. First, delegate, then divide, then subtract. Clarify this part. In order to know who did it, you have to follow the money. This is a power move, and this is a hidden message. Now, when I think about equations, right? Any formula, doesn't matter. There's always, but I'm gonna take the equations of matrices, like the matrix equation, right? And it always starts in a row of 4, and it can go from anywhere between 4 to 8 to 12 to 16. But no matter how many numbers you see, there's always a set pattern. First, you have to do, I don't know the order. First, you have to do, let's say, the addition, and then the multiplication, and then the division, and there's the subtraction. The thing is, the pattern does not change, okay? The numbers in the matrices may change, but the pattern on solving it does not change. So if at some point you don't have the right answer, it's because there is something that is not in order, or you didn't do correctly, right? This is a power move. So it's like, who are you not subtracting, and who do you keep adding into the equation? Because I feel like you're adding people that are making you feel like you did absolutely nothing wrong. And then you're subtracting all the people who are telling you, like, look, maybe you didn't do this wrong, but maybe how you said things, or maybe how you went about things, it could have been handled a little differently. And you're subtracting everybody that's giving you an honest opinion, right? Even yourself. Like, I feel like you're getting to the point where you're either subtracting yourself out of the equation whenever that little voice says, hey, like your intuition says, hey, I think you should do this instead of this. I think it will be much better. It's like you're tuning out your intuition, right? Because there's a feeling of, I can't be wrong. Because if I'm wrong, then I'm going to appear as weak. And I cannot show this person, I cannot show the world, I cannot show myself that I am weak, right? But when you think about the phrase, let the weak say I am strong, what does that mean, right? What does that mean to you? And I think that's a question you have to answer. I can't tell you. You needed the darkness to appreciate the sun. Shine, baby, shine. That's in reverse. Okay. So I'm going to reverse this and say you needed the sun in order to appreciate the darkness. right? So you could have been in a particular way of thinking for a very long time. And somebody, like where you had a group of people that was willing to sit in the dark with you or sit in the darkness with you, you had one person that you were under the impression was going to sit in the darkness with you, but little did you know they bought a flashlight and they just started shining on everything. And everybody's like, hey, 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 what are you doing? This is the darkness. And you're just like, no. Like this person is just like, no, I want you to see this. Like, look at all this. Look what's happening here in the darkness. And it's like somebody is showing you like a true reflection of yourself and the decisions that you've made. And it's up to you, even if this is just your higher self, right? Coming in with the flashlight, it's up for you to be able to be willing to see what your higher self is showing you, you know? So let's talk about, even though it was not clear what happened, you're not wrong. I feel like, because I had to ask, I'm like, is this you also? And, you know, my spirit is saying no. I feel like this is the person you have to apologize to. And I don't mean to say have to, like it's mandatory, but you're asking, how do you get out of this personal hell that you created? And the answer is you have to apologize to this person. So clarify, even though it was not clear what happened, you're not wrong. And this person revoked their player card because a little birdie told them you were single. So the military card comes out and it says Book of Job. God asked where Job was when he was creating, right? And I love the Book of Job because this man gets everything taken away from him to the point he feels like God is fighting with him, but God is not fighting with him. God has set up everything in place to help Job, right? So I could see this as this is somebody that let's say you gambled their life, and it's like in the process of gambling their life or seeing their life as a bet, you took everything from them, right? It's like you took everything from this person. As much as you could take from this person, you took from them. And each time they kept their faith, because the goal of you doing this to this person was you wanted them to lose their faith. I don't know if it's in humanity. I don't know if it's in God, source, the universe. You wanted this person to say by the end of everything that you did that God is not real. There's no such thing as the universe, source. Nothing like this exists. I feel like you wanted to turn somebody into a complete atheist. You wanted somebody not only to not believe in God or themselves, but you also wanted them single, right? You wanted them alone. You wanted them to feel like there was nobody else to turn to but you. And now you yourself is saying to you, look, you want to get out of everything you put this person through? Say sorry. Rewrite the story, alter the past, then quantum jump. That's in reverse. I feel like where you were supposed to make history with this person does not wish to have you in their history. Like anything from call logs to like future endeavors. And I feel like it's because of what you did to this person. It's kind of like, it's like the energy of wanting nothing to do with you, like wanting to be in a universe or in the multiverse in such a way where you don't exist. Like, and it's making me think about American Gods, where the old lady, it was an older Italian lady, she in the episode, she fell off of something that she was trying to reach for, and she died because I think she like snapped her neck or something, and her family was right about to come over. And the guy who was the equivalent of death came to collect her, and he let her know, like, you're not living anymore, you're dead. So pretty much, long story short, she goes with him up these huge long flights of stairs, right? And so does her cat. Her cat follows her. Her cat follows her. You could have a cat that could, this person could have a cat, and that could be significant in some way, shape, or form. But, or you could have killed this person's cat. I don't know. Okay, so moving forward, right? So what happens is she gets all the way to the top, and he weighs her heart, right? He's like, and in a way you can say he's like Anubis. He is Anubis too, but he weighs her heart on a golden scale. And from what I remember, it was her heart to the feather, and her heart was lighter than the feather. So he opens up these many doorways, and he tells her, you choose a door, right? Because your heart is lighter than a feather, I'm going to allow you to choose a door, right? And she turns to the man and she says, I want any door. I want to be in any part of the world where my father does not exist, because he was very abusive and he hurt my mother. So he eliminates the door, or he eliminates the universe or the many worlds where the father does not exist. Okay? Not even so much as a thought, not a karmic cycle, nothing. And so she still can't decide because she has so many options. So she turns to Death, Anubis, however you want to take it, and she says, why don't you choose for me? You seem like a good man. And so he observes the doors for just like a few seconds, and he points to the door. And she goes through the door. I'm not mistaken if I'm not mistaken, her cat goes with her. Or I can't remember the clip so clearly because it was years ago when I saw that episode. But she goes through the door. But it's something in regards to the specific meaning of she wanted to live in a universe. She wanted to live in a world where her father did not exist. So maybe you are somebody's father figure, okay? And in this case, maybe you took everything from them. Maybe you sacrificed them for your own well-being or your riches, and you sacrificed your cats, and you just wanted this person to be desolate and alone. Okay? And so now they have come to the point where maybe they have to decide. Maybe even after what you've done to them, their heart is lighter than a feather, and they're deciding their fate, and they want a fate where you don't exist. And the only thing, this is why I know there is so much pride in this pile. The only thing you have to do is say sorry, and you're refusing to even do that. So, I don't know. So tell me about always be compassionate to the ones with spiritual blood on their hands. No amount of soap can wipe it off. And you make the Grinches of the world want to be Care Bears. Okay. My heart chakra has been closed for a while. I wasn't expecting this. Give me a moment. So, I feel like in some point of this reading, you're going to have a change of heart, or you're going to come to the realization of like everything. Something had to be proof. I feel like you're not really somebody who believes in, you don't believe in tarot readers, you don't believe in mystics, but I feel like you practice some form of esoteric arts. And maybe in the past you've practiced it for all the wrong reasons. But there's something about this, right? Where you have come to the realization of, wow, stuff like this is real. People could really read your fate. I feel like you were so accustomed to deciding another person's fate because you had the power to do so, or you had the esoteric knowledge to do so, that it's hard for, maybe it was hard for you to see yourself for who you were, okay? But it's like, where you were once mean about it, I'll treat my daughter however I want to. I'll treat my son, I'll treat my kids however I want to. It's like you're looking at it from the perspective of, wait a minute. Like, because I feel like the main reason a lot of this stuff was done is because you wanted to be remembered. Even if you were remembered as the bad guy, you wanted to be remembered. But the fact that it's getting to the point where, despite everything you've done, your kids don't want to remember you, I think that's hitting you harder, and it's allowing you to understand that you have a heart too, no matter how cold you were in the past. I also think that it may upset you that maybe you had like a good amount of kids. I think it upsets you that your kid or your kids can see right through you. You know what I mean? Like this, despite the many masks or facades you had in front of them of, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I don't feel, I'll hold a grudge forever. I think your kids see right through you, and it makes you feel a particular way. Despite the fact of you created them, you know? Like, it's like you created them and you did everything you did in hopes that they would turn out to be just like you, right? But it's like, you know that they're not just like you, and you know that they have, despite everything they've been through, they have a very pure heart. And it's like, you have something to do with that heart because you physically created them, biologically created them, but you have nothing to do with that heart because of what you've done to them. You know what I mean? It's like that. So go back to your luxury underwater home. The answer is there, and it's time to let yourself be reborn and cleansed again. You are experiencing the love of a high-ranking earth angel. Don't anger them. Whoa, that fell on the floor. So what fell on the floor was, it's in the details, but I'm not going to take that because something is not in the details. And a 12-year-old girl, Jesus, rose from sleep. I mean, I'm not going to lie. From what I'm seeing here, it feels like because we can take death in many forms, right? It doesn't just have to be physical. But I feel like you wanted, because this is definitely giving me father-daughter relations. You know, I feel like you wanted your daughter to just spiritually die. You didn't want her to wake up from the sleep or the slumber that you thought you were putting her under because of the position or the power that you had over her, right? But there was a point in time where you were perfectly okay with not allowing your daughter to wake up spiritually if it meant that it's because of you, you know? And so when I think about Jesus and the 12-year-old girl, And the father comes up to Jesus and says, oh, his daughter is dead, you know. And he asks Jesus to, like, bring her back to life. And then Jesus has to say, your daughter's not dead, she's asleep, right? She's sleeping. And then everybody laughed and carried on. It was just like, you know, they were just like, really, Jesus? Like, this girl's not breathing, she's not moving. She clearly, she's unalive, right? And it only took one phrase. It only took one word for this woman to come back to life. And I can look at it from a technical standpoint, but the Bible is very spiritual, so I tend not to, okay? So spiritually, this woman, this 12-year-old girl, arose to what everybody thought she could not ever be because she was unalived or unwilling to come to life or come into tune with herself for such a long time. And maybe you've been doing this for 12 plus years. And then I'm seeing also in my mind Akashic records. Maybe you have been messing with, because I do get somebody who's deeply into the occult. Maybe you've been messing with your daughter's Akashic records for at least 12 plus years. Or every 12 years, it's like you try to switch something up, right? So now that's not working, right? You wanted her to lose everything, or this daughter figure to lose everything. You wanted her to not have anything. You wanted her to be single and alone. Now that's not happening. You can't understand why you're grieving, you're going through the pain and the loss, and at the same time your heart chakra is opening up. You feel bad for all the things you've done because it's like something is coming with age. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this person is a lot older, and it's like with age, it's like it feels as if the guilt is weighing heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. Not because this person was successful, like you were successful, but it's because you were not successful. And I think that weighs heavier on you, knowing that somebody goes out into the world and they spread the love that you were never able to give them. Because I don't know what kind of deals you made, but I do see deals. So, obstacle after obstacle, the only thing you can control is yourself. And sometimes the best love comes in unsuspecting packages. Clarify that? Equations are invented, not discovered. You have sent whoever this is for. Maybe it's not the person who's listening. Maybe it's for the person who's on the opposite end. Maybe it's for the daughter figure. Whoever this is for. This person has sent a countless amount of problems and people this person's way. I'm seeing difficulties, issues with money binding. So they have to be subjected to, and it's interesting how I pulled up the matrices equation. Subjected to money issues, and those money issues would make this person make the daughter figure go to, oh, I have to get a job because if I get a job, I'll have more money. They get a job, this person through energy, this father figure through energy of, let the bosses be like this. Let them be mean and unconcerning and, just like make this person. I feel like this father figure wanted to make this daughter's life a living MFing hell. And he did not plan to stop. So the daughter had to come to the realization The only way that she can get out of this is if she started to create her own matrices. And this is in regards to she could not care what this father figure felt her life should be. She had to take control of her own life. She had to move forward. She had to take that leap of faith, and she had to trust in a higher power, God, source, universe, spiritual teams, guardian angels, ancestors. She had to believe in such a way that it completely eliminated, not only eliminated, but annihilated this father figure and his many matrices of equations for the rest of her life. She broke it. Whatever this is, she broke it. It's like breaking the matrix, hacking the matrix. And she had to. Because if she didn't do this, this father would have always had the impression on her of, I have to be asleep in order to appease my parental figures, in order to appease the world. At some point in time, she had to say, no, I'm not wrong. There's nothing wrong for being born. Okay? I was born because I had to carry something out, but it is not my fault. The kind of deals and dealings my parents have made to try to secure my fate in order for them to live a better, lavish, luxurious life. I see this girl breaking. This is not even a girl anymore. This is a full-blown woman. Doesn't matter what you try to send her way. She's going to break these curses. She's going to break this opposition. She's going to break any sort of mental magic you try to throw at her. Any form of binding. Her guardian angels, her spiritual team comes in and just wipes it all and gives it back to whoever sent it. And it's terrifying, this father figure, to the point they have no choice but to open up their heart chakra. Close out the reading. Add a beneficial element to your H2O. Listen, it don't matter how much water this father figure drinks. Do you hear me? This is somebody who drinks a lot of water in order to cleanse. Then they feel like in drinking this water, I'm seeing seltzer, but in order to cleanse their energy and rid themselves from whatever's going on, all they got to do is drink some water, add a little bit of herbs to the water, drink a little tea, they'll be fine. This father figure is trapped or has trapped themselves in their own matrix equation they wanted for their daughter. And they're looking at the problem from such a physical level that they feel like all they have to do is drink water and eat fish. And to be honest, that's very sad. Because a person would rather think that it resides in physical consumption, this spiritual warfare they have set on themselves because they chose to target their daughter. All it takes is a physical consumption to cure all their problems, and that's not happening. I think this message is to show this father figure that God is very real. Guardian angels are very real. The ancestral realms are very real, and they're very pissed off at whoever this father figure is. Always remember, you are somebody's dream partner in life. This is what this woman, whoever this daughter figure is, or whoever they are, they have to remember. You are, whether you are single or whether you're in a relationship, you are free. You are completely free from this father figure's abuse. And it doesn't even have to be your biological father. It could just be a father figure that has kids. A person that has kids. Whoever this person is that thought they can control your life with the rest of their esoteric practices, their dark manipulation, You have to remember this. Although you were subjected to this person's unreasonable dictatorship over your life for the period of time that it was, you have to remember there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Nothing. Not as a partner, not as a daughter, not as a friend, not as a sister if you're somebody's sister, not as a cousin. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. I don't care what you've been fed for years upon years upon years. I don't care what this father figure told you for years upon years upon years. There is nothing wrong with you. Third parties and false twin flame alerts. That's in reverse. And I didn't take this card when it tried to come out before. But I feel like whoever this father figure was, the way they tried to send so many false lovers towards you was absolutely absurd. And every false lover is like, it's giving me scandal vibes, right? Where it's like the father command sends in like these false lovers, and they're all like a part of the group, that private military group, and they send in these figures to like, and they're supposed to just like break her down, and they all end up falling in love with her to the point he has to call them all decoys. Like, they couldn't even do the job properly. I see whoever this father figure is, they try to send you the best of the best to tear you down. And the people who are considered the best of the best partners to tear you down, they all end up falling in love with you, even if they never get the chance to be with you. Lake. Somebody's father, right? Or this father figure is just, you know, I have a neutral definition when it comes to good and evil. Like, no such thing as good, no such thing as evil. But if I had a definition of evil, it's definitely this father figure. The amount of things this man was willing to do to keep you stuck is inhumane. This queen is on a rampage. Use that to your advantage. It's lucrative. It makes a statement. Apply pressure. Push buttons. Make a scene. They'll catch on. Checkmate. That's in reverse. Let me tell you something. This person wants you mad. If not mad as a hatter, they want you mad at men. They want you mad at the world. And you're not. And I think this pisses them off. They want you looking at men a certain way. It was even to the point, I feel like this person, this father figure, if he could turn you to the point like you were completely done with men because of so much trauma and you only dealt with women, that was the goal. This person wanted you so upset with the world and the men who lived in it. It's crazy. And it just made you a better lover. Where you were expected to be mad or angry, always yelling and screaming, you can't carry a healthy relationship. Now nothing but healthy relationships flock to you. Now nothing but unconditional love comes to you. You're so wise and ahead of your time. And that's because you broke the matrix. You did not give in to what this father figure thought your life should have been. Because they made deals before you even came out of your mother's womb. Because this is what this is. This is like a scapegoat sacrifice before the child is even born, before he even got the chance to know you, he put you up. And it's sad. But you know what? This is why I feel you are so powerful and you are bound to be discovered and known and unconditionally loved and obstacle free the way that you are. It's like, you know what this is equivalent to? And I'm not saying this from a thing because I don't want any controversy, but this is equivalent to sacrificing, like a father sacrificing a daughter before she even comes out of the womb, and the daughter is the reincarnation of a female reincarnation of Ganesh. This is what this feels like. It's like it wasn't the way this was set up. You can't tell me God doesn't have a sense of humor. One last card. It was either you or them. I'm glad you chose you. Yeah. So you had to choose between yourself and a better life for yourself, or succumbing to the lifestyle that your father wanted to have, that your father wanted you to have. And there's also something about your father the reason why your father was messing with your Akashic records a lot is because they were trying to switch lifestyles with you. This father figure could have known you were going to be wildly successful, you were going to be financially stable, you were going to be well off, you were going to be completely, blissfully adored by the universe and life. And they wanted that. And they thought all they had to do was switch it before you came out of the womb. Be compassionate to this person. But should you ever find yourself in a time where you're meeting a reincarnation in human form, Anubis, and he's telling you which life, should you say, I want a life or I want a door where my father does not exist? Understand, nobody, not even your higher self, will hold that against you. That's your reading, pile 2. Bye. Hi, pile 3. Let's get started on your reading. So the first card you have is, there isn't a time lapse. This person won't follow you. Second card is, it only took one kiss, one hug, one smile, one moment, and now they are in love with you. Third card is, the House of Bliss Forever, Redemption. You're traveling pile 2. From pile 2 to pile 3. Okay. The fourth card is, you are meant to be seen. It's okay to step off of your G7500 and introduce yourself, but that's in reverse. And the fifth card is, invest in a date with your love today in order to seal this successful deal. First card from the second row is, well, that was kinky. Second card is, jump out of an airplane, drive the fastest car home, and be home for dinner before 7. Third card is, your heart creates harmony for the lost. It's time to be seen so they can be found. And the fourth card is, in order to appreciate the land, to understand its roots, don't build yet. Something has to be dug up first. And the last card is, there is a presence on the land that needs permission to leave. Let it go and you'll see a change in revenue. Okay. So, pile 3. There's definitely love here. Somebody, true love, true genuine love. I mean, they're just as kinky as you if you're wondering. But you know, the jump out of that airplane, drive the fastest car home, and be home for dinner before 7. That's like my double life card. So you could be dealing with somebody who has like a double life. So on paper, they look like they just push papers, but really they're like, their life is a lot more interesting than it lets on. So it could be something like that. Like this person, and I'm hearing to the moon and back. This person will follow you to the moon and back. And then I'm thinking about the story. I'll love you till the cows come home, right? In that book, when you think about the book, it's kind of like, there's always a deeper meaning to children's books, but there's something about that book in particular, like I'll love you till the cows come home, like. But now also I heard I'll love you to the moon and back. So this is somebody who has definitely experienced many lifetimes of love with you, and it's like each lifetime they always choose you. Like their soul's always gonna choose you, right? They don't want anybody else. So pile 3, you are, and this is giving me geographically, you're located somewhere where it's hard for people to see at face value the definition of pure unconditional love without being triggered, especially if this is something that land or that person residing in that land has not ever experienced. Okay. So you may be dealing with people who don't believe anybody can be too nice or too sweet or too kind or too understanding without there being some form of ulterior motive, right? And you are naturally a sweet, kind, pure in heart person. And this is shown whether through what you do for work or just you as an individual. Anybody who comes across you, they can see that light, right? They'll see the light before you do. And even if you know that light resides in you and you know it's a big, bright beam, they see a brighter beam. It's like you shine so bright that it's like it's almost hard for a person to keep their eyes open spiritually in front of you without being triggered and turning to some form of like agitation, or I don't want to say jealousy, right? But you could be dealing with that right now also. Or you could be dealing with a land that like a lot of people thrive better if they're jealous or if they're gossiping or they're turning their nose up or down at somebody. And it's just like you coming there, it shifts everything, right? So it's just like you come into the land, it's just but so much hate that can reside there anymore. And I feel like that's what you yourself and what you embody is digging up. You're digging up this spiritual debris of whatever was left that's not equivalent to like illumination, right? So House of Bliss forever, redemption, and your heart creates harmony for the lost. It's time to be seen so they can be found. So the card that came out was get some rest now. It's been a long time coming. Safe travels are forever ahead. You know what you need? I feel like you need to know, pile 3, is you did it. Like whatever you came to do in a particular area, location, geographically, you have done that, right? And I also feel like because you have done that, meant to be seen as like you're meant to be rewarded and recognized. Even let's say, like hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say you're working somewhere where you don't feel seen, you don't feel heard enough, or they feel like you're too nice, you're too kind, you move in a particular way that triggers them. I feel like whatever karmic debt you owed to that particular place is done. Like, it's like you have paid your dues and it is okay for you to walk away if you want to. And I know, like, sometimes the hardest part is taking that leap of faith, even when it appears as though physical circumstances make you feel like you can't physically walk away from what's providing you food on the table, what's helping you to pay rent. But I want to tell you that God works in such a mysterious way where your whole life can change in a matter of moments. Your life can change overnight if it needs to, just so you can move forward and be seen and recognized for the light that you truly are, right? So let's see. Get some rest for now. Safe travels are forever ahead. Clarify this card. Time to resurrect and redirect. Time to collect your good fortune. I'm telling you. Pile 3. If you're worried about money, do not. If you're worried about your stability, somebody, like, even if it comes down to the point you're worried about your next check, do not worry. Right? And I'm telling you this because I know whatever it is you're about to do may seem like it was a spontaneous act, super scary, no safety net, but I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. Okay? So if you feel like it's time for you to go, you feel like it's time for you to move, you feel like it's time for you to live a lifestyle where you're not doing 9 to 5. You're doing what you love most, what you're the best of the best at doing, right? Do it. Because the way the universe is attuned to you right now, you can say, hey, universe, hey, source, hey, God, listen, 1, 2, 3, XYZ, ABC. Thank you. And 1, 2, 3, XYZ, ABC is going to take form. Now you can't be scared, okay? You can't back out at the last second because then it repeats a cycle you have already completed. And I'm telling you, this cycle is completed. You've done your best. You've done everything you were supposed to do. Now you can do everything you want to do, okay? Time to redirect and time to collect your good fortune. It's time for you to collect your karma, your good karma. You've got a lot of good karma that you can collect in the form of physical revenue. I say collect that karma in the form of physical revenue if you have to. So this way you don't feel so, what's going to happen next? How am I going to be able to provide? I feel like pile 3. You have to know how powerful you are. And I feel like if there are times where you doubt your power, it's because you've been surrounded by people, places, and circumstances that make you feel like you're not powerful. But you have to know you have the power to transform your life in a matter of seconds if you want it. So clarify, you are meant to be seen. It's okay to step out of your G7500 and introduce yourself in reverse. And in order to appreciate the land, you have to understand its roots. Don't build yet. I don't even feel like this is you. Who is this? What does the concept "let there be light" mean to you? And this is the military card. So you could be dealing with somebody who took your sense of illumination or your light or you being a light being for granted, right? And they're like, they are having their own spiritual awakening, but they're remaining hidden. This person does not want you to know how much they have discovered about themselves watching you. If you only knew how this person uses your light as a guide, what to do next, how to do it, when to do it, very precise, and they've been successful each and every time because you have been guiding them. So this person is like, now they're digging up their past, but it's like they're digging up their past and they're opening the many closed off closets like that the world can't see, and they're using your light to do so. Not in a bad way, but they're using the light to be like okay, it's okay to open this closet. It's okay to go down this dark path. It's okay to express how I feel about when I had to do X, Y, and Z in 1, 2, 3, right? I don't want to say what I heard because I feel like that's going to be too personal. But everything that this person has done in the shadows, you make them want to talk about it, and you make them want to bring it to the light so that they can release it. Pile 3, I'm going to say again, and I'm going to be repetitious to the point it's redundant. You have to know how powerful you are. You have men and women with very dark past, willing to address their dark past because your light has helped them and is healing them enough to want to release and let go of some of the dark things they've done or some of the dark things that have been done to them. So the card that came out was a lot of conspirators, but it's the quote unquote nobody that knows exactly what happened. Mastermind. And I love talking about this book, but I'm going to simplify it because I keep talking about it. But in the book Promise Boys, with the 3 young men that were in a prestigious school, it's the nobody who saved their lives, okay? Because without the footage, without the audio, without what he was so good at doing what he did, without his niche for capturing a moment like you do, Pile 3, these young men would have been thrown in jail and they wouldn't have been guilty of the crime, right? But because you love to do what you do and you do it so well, you can prove a man's innocence just by speaking. You can prove a man's innocence just by doing what you love on a mass scale. I hope you understand that. Invest in a date with your love today in order to seal the successful deal, and there is a presence on the land that needs permission to leave. Let it go and you'll see the change in revenue. What about this? The card that came out was, you have passed. Gods are asking what you would like as a reward. Pile 3. What would you like as a reward? What you worried about? Worried about money? You worried about love? What are you worried about? Ask the gods what you're worried. Can you have what it is you're worried about the most and watch them deliver? And I'm not talking about, product. I'm talking about like expedited shipping. You didn't even know you could get something delivered so fast. Like, really? Even though I paid for a standard shipping? No, you paid for a standard shipping, but you're getting spiritual treatment of expedited shipping. This is how you know. Part 3. Okay. And even in regards to this, right? There is a presence on the land that needs permission to leave. Let it go. You'll see the change in revenue. You can even ask God, universe, source, whatever this energy, this presence on the land is that needs permission to leave, can you release it, please? Can you release it and let it go from me, please? So this way I can have a substantial positive change in revenue, and watch God, universe, source, your spiritual team make it happen because you've asked for it. Why? Because you've done the work. Why? Because you got people willing to do the work. Because you're not afraid to talk about things. Everybody tells them, oh, don't talk about it. Oh, just sweep it under the rug. It comes with the job. Oh, it comes with the territory. You understand that with success comes persecution. But that doesn't mean you don't talk about what's happened, how you've been persecuted. Because how do you let it go? Because if you don't let it go, what happens? It builds up into resentment. And then you never move forward. You have allowed people to move forward. You have allowed yourself to move forward. And I'm telling you, your karmic debt is cleared. Ask for what you want and you shall receive. Okay, part 3, that's your reading. Bye. Hey, part 4, let's get started on your reading. Sorry, I'm scratching my leg. I don't know if you heard that, but I was definitely scratching my leg. All right. Let's see. The first card is, how do you wake up the sun? History has the answer. Eternal love. And the second card is, they miss the late nights and the long, deep talks. Third card is, in this case, you can remove yourself from the equation. Theseus, Theseus versus thesis statements. And I am trying to be your one and only. Side note, person is protective. And the fifth card on the first row is, this person is no saint, no angel, but avoids devils with their good heart. That's why you like them. Appreciate their authenticity. Okay. Now, on the first card on the second row says, meditate on Shiva today. The second card says, God has expanded their lifespan so they can stay and love you a little longer. The third card is, I'll shut the world down to find you. I love you more than you'll ever know. The fourth card is, what you saw needs to be talked about. There is trauma residing in your body because you need to speak up. And the fifth card is, talk about the 38-year-old man, Jesus, and Jesus telling him to walk. Okay, so part 4. I know it's not going to capture that, but as soon as I put out your last card, I had to use the bathroom, okay? So, but in the process of using the bathroom, I thought about boxer briefs, and I thought about legs, okay? So boxer briefs is significant. Boxer is significant. Somebody can be a boxer, or they box. Or it could be a sense of feeling boxed in. Okay? So let's see. How do you wake up the sun? So, the sun rises in the morning, sets in the evening, but in different parts of the world, right? So, you're trying to figure out, how do you wake up the God within? Because the fact that on top of this card is meditate on Shiva today, it's like you're trying to bring forth or revive the light within the light within the light within the light that resides in yourself. Okay? Now, before I started this reading and I meditated on your cards, I thought about Sex and the City, right? The spin-off. Or the reboot, I should say, of Sex and the City. And there was a moment where Mr. Big, he catches a heart attack, right? And then Carrie walks through the door, and then he looks at Carrie one last time. He has a smile on his face. It's like a faint smile, but then he passes on, okay? And in regards to what she was doing, she called the hospital, like she called 911 and everything like that, but he was considered dead. Now, there was a moment in time, trust me, I'm going somewhere with this, where Carrie and Charlotte are talking in front of Carrie's door shortly after, Big's death. So Charlotte wants her to pretty much confess how she feels about everything, right? Because Charlotte feels guilty that, that has happened in some way, shape, or form. But she wants, in her own way, Carrie to admit that there is a problem because she does not want to lose her friend, okay? So finally, after going back and forth with Charlotte, she finally says, I didn't want to go to that recital. Right? Clears everything up. because there's a moment where she's completely honest. If I had never went to that recital and something happened to, something happened to her husband, she could have saved her husband. But she wasn't true to herself. So in not being true to herself and sticking to her guns of not wanting to go to a recital, the end result is her husband is dead. Okay? Something has to be as honest as that. It's like somebody has to be so honest, whether it be with a friend or themselves or both, that it just releases that idea of, oh, I have to hold this in for the rest of my life, right? You're no longer going to allow someone or yourself to take something to the grave. Oh, I'll never say that. I'll never admit that. But in admitting exactly how you feel, you release this idea of you have to hold on to something. So the question now is, what are you holding on to, right? Or are you asking about a person? I feel like this is you, Palfor. So let's get started. I already felt myself having to break this down in sections. Okay, how do you wake up the sun? History has the answer. Eternal love. Meditate on Shiva today. What's this? Talk about Esther. Okay. Beauty seems okay. What's covering the read of this is beauty, attention to detail, beauty, perfection, and fasting to the idea of something, right? Like when Esther told her people fast for 3 days, everybody saw it as a physical fast. And that could have happened. They could have physically fasted. But to me, I ask, what was Esther's definition of fasting, right? Not what we interpreted, not what was shown in the movies and the books. What was her idea, right? This is a very beautiful woman we're talking about. And she had God-given beauty, right? But she also had to use her beauty to stop a king and the right hand from the completely, like genocide, right? So completely like wiping out a whole ethnicity because of somebody else's hate for them. So fast for 3 days. Fast. What does it mean to fast? Do you have to physically fast, or do you have to fast to the idea of something that allows you to believe that if you keep consuming this thought or this idea, it'll get the best of you physically? Be upset all you want. I'm not quitting on us. I'll fight anyone for you. That's in reverse. Did Esther fight? In a lot of ways she did, right? But she fought in her own way. She couldn't physically pick up a sword and go against the king's right hand. She would have been, that would have been it for her. She couldn't, do any sort of physical harm. So what did she do? She outsmarted the person who wanted to do physical harm to a whole race of people. Right? So, and she outsmarted this man with her charm. And then she just used her intelligence to completely annihilate this person, right? The day that the whole race of people were supposed to go, she held a feast. That's making a statement, right? The day after, she held another feast. That's now making another statement. She had the power to control, delay, bring forward justice and judgment. And that was all with using her intelligence and having a group of people fast to the idea that somebody was going to kill them off simply because they were Jewish. You want to talk about making statements? So, somebody, you, or a person you're inquiring about, is making one of the boldest statements that you do not ever have to take back. And the only thing you have to do is speak up. Do you think Esther would have been in the Bible if she didn't speak up and she just let everybody die? She just succumbed to the ways of the king's right hand, and no, we wouldn't have a story to tell, right? So you have to think about it like this. If you don't speak up, because you're so powerful that if you don't speak up, you not speaking up can wipe out a whole race of people. But if you do speak up, you can give a voice, right? You can give a voice to the people who feel voiceless. And speak up not from a commercial sense. Speak up with authenticity. Speak up honestly, right? No matter who feels what about your opinion, speak up. They miss the late nights and the long deep talks. Talk about this. Your love and healing abilities is not a game to this person. They want you off the market and in their arms. They do not move forward unless they get permission from you and their team. That's in reverse. So this means you don't get permission. You do not move forward unless you give yourself permission to move forward. You are Job. You are Esther. You are the 38-year-old man that's sitting there by the pool, wanting to get into the pool so bad, but cannot get over the fact that everybody stepped on you in order to get into that dirty pool. Everyone you are thinking about that ever had to make a statement, you are that person. And I know you know what I mean. So, to be such a game changer, right? That despite the many dis-eases happening within you or around you, God keeps giving you life. Universe, source keeps giving you the opportunity to live yet another day when you should have been dead. And you keep living. And you keep living. Somebody tells you, 3 months, that's it. That's all you have. We're going from 3 months of living. You're at your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th year. Is that not statement enough? You have people that have lost their lives because their main goal was to speak up. You have the power to speak up and still live. I wouldn't abuse that power, but I'd use it to the best of my ability. And I think that's what this reading is trying to tell you, Pelfor. Every time you get a little while longer, you get another day, you get another week, you get another month, you get another year. It's because universe, source, God is giving you that time to say honestly how you feel. No regrets. So, you don't move unless you give yourself permission to. What's going on here? Talk about Daniel in the lion's den. Oh, man. Okay. What part are you at? Are you at the point where you're praying? Or are you at the point where you're doing your job so effectively and efficiently that you have people hating on you and they're turning the king against you? Are you at the point where you're thrown into the actual lion's den, or are you at the point you're coming out? I want to say you're at the point where you're coming out. And you got to be diplomatic. And you can be as diplomatic as you want to be. I feel like that would be the most effective. You can be as diplomatic or you can be as harsh. But you regret nothing. When you say what you feel, regret absolutely nothing. And so, okay, we got to talk about Daniel in the lion's den. So Daniel comes out of the lion's den. And he says, glory to the king. He could have said anything. He could have said, screw you, king. I thought I was your right hand. I thought I was one of your best workers. You're going to throw me to the lion? You're going to throw me to the wolves? You're going to throw me into the unknown? Forget you. But he doesn't. He says praises to the king. So much so, one sentence makes a king who did not believe in God believe in God. One. Wasn't a whole line. It was just praises to the king. I had an angel watch over me. Boom. Suddenly the king that's been atheist for years believes in God. I hope you can see what I'm trying to put down. You don't need a televised segment for 60 minutes. You don't need an interview with a vampire. You don't need any of that. All you have to do is speak honestly. You'll cure everything. You'll heal. You will stop a mass genocide just by speaking. And you will love and be loved unconditionally just by speaking. No gimmicks, no props, no propaganda. Just speak. In this case, you can remove yourself from the equation. So let's see. I'll shut the world down to find you. I love you more than you'll ever know. A complete and total ending to this magician. No gender exclusions. No one involved is safe. Okay. What are magicians? They're illusionists. They're master illusionists. They make something appear to be real. Oh my God. How this person stabbed themselves and they still lived right in the liver. Right? How this person blew flame out of their mouth and it was a long flame. How this person know the card that I had in my hand? Master illusions. Did I say master truth? No. I said master illusions. Magicians can make you feel, think, oh, that's exactly what happened. Wow, that must be magic. It's precision, it's timing, it's dedication, it's a resilience to a level of pain. But that's what makes the magic, right? And that's what makes the magic trick. but it's still a trick. There's nothing trickster, there's nothing facade or fake about the power that resides in you. Nothing. Can't box it up and put it in a magic box and sell it for $19.99. There's nothing. Sometimes I get passionate and I gotta, I need a couple seconds. I need a couple seconds when I get passionate, but you have put an ending to somebody who just wanted to cast illusion after illusion after illusion after illusion on you. Some of the biggest magicians of the world are not actually magicians. They don't actually do magic shows. Some of the biggest illusionists of the world can be residing in your health documents, in your family, in your day-to-day work area. Some of the biggest illusionists. And if life is mere perception, what are we looking at? So you're going to decide whether you want to start looking at the truth or whether you want to start doing your own tricks. But whoever this magician is, somebody that was playing magic in your life, throwing all these tricks at you, and you have this, you have that, they're done. They've been removed. Every time somebody gave you a time limit on your life, magician or not, and you kept living, you have to see that you were shattering every illusion to this magician. And I'm seeing a snow globe. It's like somebody keeping you, your hopes and your dreams in a snow globe and just shaking it up whenever they wanted to see the snow flurry all over you. But you realize that if you're in a snow globe, you can crack it. You can crack the glass. And what is cracking the glass for you physically and spiritually? You can break those ceilings. And you do. You've done it before. So what's happening here? Because there seems to be a lack of confidence. Trying to be your one and only, side note, person is protective. That's what it's called. Turn to the light in order to stop fighting the darkness. Okay. You know that part in Neverending Story where the princess and the land is suffering and they're dying and they're crumbling and it takes for the boy to say the name, right? It's like, you have to give me a new name. The princess is just like, please, you have to give me a new name. And he doesn't know the name to say. And she was like, you know, that's why we chose you. You've been chosen. You have to give me a new name. And then right when the whole world and the princess itself starts to crumble, he finally opens the door and he says the name, right? But in saying the name, he restores everything. What's the name? What is the name you have to say? You know the name. Nobody else knows it. This is your never-ending story moment. You're getting to the end of the book, not the end of your life. Keep in mind what I said. You're getting to the end of the book. You have to call out this name. What is the name? Okay? Now, this person is no saint, no angel, but avoids devils with their good heart. That's why you like them. Appreciate their authenticity. They are so in love with you and actually want to admit it. Reversed. Okay. You're in love with someone, not a ghost. Whoever this is not a ghost. They're not dead. They're not carried on. They're not, guiding you in the spirit. There is somebody physically. There's somebody you absolutely love and adore. Okay? You don't want to admit it. And I think you don't want to admit it because physically it looks wrong. Oh my God. Can you imagine such and such? Did you hear what such and such, the married woman, the married man said? Can you believe that? Oh my goodness gracious. What is going on? There's something here. There's something here about appearances, movement, what you believe in. It goes against every tradition you were raised to believe. It goes against morals. Not your moral compass, but it goes against the morals of what you were traditioned and conditioned to believe. You cannot admit that you love somebody else. No way. Not a part of the program. You can't say that you can find happiness just by being your authentic self. No way. That's not what we were born to believe. It's not how you were raised. Okay? So now you have that moment. You're having that moment. The Messiah within you, or somebody who is a representation of somebody who has a lot of knowledge, is telling you, I'm telling you, this pool is not for you. I'm telling you, this lifestyle of not speaking up, staying hidden, you don't want to produce any more craft, or you don't want to produce any more creativity. I'm telling you, it's not for you. You have come across somebody who is telling you what everybody else is refusing to tell you. You got to get up. I don't care how that looks like to the world, how it looks like to mom and dad and political references. You've got to get up and you've got to speak up. Right? Jesus, and a 38-year-old man, is a representation, to me, personal interpretation, but is a representation of the voice within. Because guess what? Physically, when everybody else, the people that were at the gates, were asking this man, who told you that you could get up and go and take up and walk? He said, Jesus. And everybody was physically looking for Jesus, couldn't find him. That means something, right? So there is a voice residing in the depths of you. The Messiah in the depths of you is telling you it is okay to get up and walk. And you've got to listen. You've got to be the person who feels like the most insignificant man in the room to the person who knows. You were told you could walk, so you chose to walk because you listened to your inner voice. I don't know why. Who told you that you were supposed to stop creating? Because to me, this is weird. Clarify this, sir? Okay, so the card that came out was science versus spirituality, logic versus faith versus fate. Do you think if universe, source, God was done with you or you fulfilled every single duty on this planet you were supposed to do, you'd still be here. I'm just curious. You think God says, okay, karmic debt is up, now just roam around and just catch diseases all day? Do you think that would happen? I'm getting passionate again. I need to calm down. Okay. So, spirituality and science. If you were fated to create some of the best forms of arts in this world, and that's what you're fated to do. You can pause, you can take a hiatus, you can take a vacation, heck, you could take a break, but you don't stop. Close out the read. The deception here was somebody told you, completely stop. You'll be rid of all these diseases, all these, and whoever this wannabe magician is, they're done anyway. So now it's just a matter of the battle of the mind. And you have to know you're not insignificant, but you got to be the one to tell yourself you're not insignificant in order for you to get it. Okay, so you have completely changed this person's life for the better, and they want to thank you in person. Okay. Three more cards. That fell. Not picking that up. That fell too. Not picking that up. Okay. Needle in the time stack. Is something about figs also? Do you eat figs? This heart beats all over the world. For you, all over the world, and this love union inspired the heavens and moved spiritual mountains. Bottom of the deck. Thou hast to do with thy youth. Your beauty will not ever fade, only enhance. I know it feels like you're just trying, right? This gives me the energy of somebody trying to get up. They're trying to stand up, but every time they try to get up and they try to stand up, somebody's just kicking them down, pushing them down. What do you mean you're gonna get up? You want to move, push down, kick down, right? And maybe they're not physically doing it. Maybe energetically, right? Maybe from a mental standpoint. Maybe somebody has reached you on a mental level to the point you feel like you're not supposed to get up. And hindsight is what's inevitable is you're fated to get up. Not only are you fated to get up, but you're fated to get up and walk, right? So you have, the reason you have this, I want to say vantage point, is because of the many lives. Because look at what happened. This card, you have completely changed this person's life. Esther, then you have Shiva, then you have the sun. You have changed the lives of many people on such a mass scale that not even you can fathom that all it takes is for you to remember just how much you have shifted and changed people's lives in order to heal yourself. Because I feel like something is, like with pile 4, something may be physically wrong with your body. And the fact that I keep emphasizing on legs, like I keep picking up this person who, it's like so many people have told you to sit down, take a seat, don't move, right? But you have to walk. You have to get up and walk. Walk, right? So Needle and time stack. You may be asking for more time. You're asking for more time to love someone. You're asking for more time for a person to love you. And when typically we're asking for more time, we have this idea somewhere in our minds that we're running out of time. And typically when we feel like we have all the time in the world, that's when we actually run out of time. And I'll put this from a personal reference, right? Before, like I've mentioned in previous videos, I always thought my mom was always going to be smart, highly intelligent. She was always going to operate from a software engineer teacher's brain. I was always going to have her for the rest of my life, right? And I have her physically still, but mentally she's not there, right? So I can't hold a conversation with her because she has Alzheimer's and dementia. Can't talk to her. Can't remember. She can't remember a 10-second conversation, let alone something that has happened years ago, right? But I was under the impression that I was always going to have time to talk to her until I didn't. I'm telling you, the reason you feel, or the reason you have more time, is because you're running out of time. When you can appreciate the time that you have speaking up and saying what you need to say, do not take that time for granted. Okay? The world is going to love when you come back out. Whoever you are, whatever you make, however you create, when you come back out, the world is going to love you in such a sense. I swear, it's like hearts beating simultaneously to this beat. Maybe you make music, but it's like they beat simultaneously to this drum or this level of music all at once. And I feel like it's only then, when you feel that for yourself, you're going to allow yourself to know, like, whoa, I'm not insignificant. I'm not just somebody that's supposed to be walked all over, told to sit down, stand up, talk like this, move like this, sing like this, dance like this. You're going to know, right? First, you have to realize that you have to get up and walk. You have to speak up. You have to say what's on your mind. You have to. Okay, Part 4, that's your reading. Bye.